Hello, anybody who's watching this. Welcome to my reaction to KATKO versus BRINEY. BRINEY maybe? I don't know. KATKO? I don't know. The shotgun tour trap case. Tales from the bottle from the channel Qxir? I've never heard of this channel before, so this is gonna be an interesting watch. Only 8 minutes, so that's much less than quite a few last of videos I made. Anyway, this reaction brought to you by TomVinton, your favorite sponsor. Well, definitely my favorite sponsor. And you know what? I'm not gonna talk about it now. I'm gonna leave it in the end of the video so people don't have to skip a lot. So, if you want to sponsor me, I'll have a recommendation for you. You can use the donation link in the description below and help me out, and also give me a recommendation for a video you want me to react to. And Tom, please stay until the end of the video because we have a problem. So, but I want to leave it to the end. I think that will be the best for everybody else. Okay. Yep. There we go.
The less well-adjusted of us often imagine fantastical scenarios where they're put in a situation to stop a crime. You know, when they're waiting in line at the shop, they think about what they'd do if someone came in to rob the place. These imagined scenarios almost always end with the Imagineer enacting swift, brutal justice to the imaginary crime doers. In reality, of course, these people would be the last to do anything, and would likely be catatonic if such a thing happened in real life. But as I said, they're not well-adjusted people. They're the kind of people who salivate at the thought of someone breaking into their house, just so they can legally murder them, usually in some over-the-top, drawn-out, preposterous fashion that stretches the definition of self-defense well past its limits. They're lunatics, psychopaths, nuts. I am admittedly one of these people.
Wait, what? Why don't you? Oh, because
psychopaths, nuts. I am admittedly one of these people.
Okay. He said what I thought he said. Good.
Ahoy, matey. I see you've boarded me domicile with the intent of plundering me precious booty. Alas, you've stumbled into me personal pet project, me pirate-themed anti-burglar man-trap. Prepare for an action-packed, swashbuckling adventure where the only escape is through the shark-infested waters, past the cannonball gauntlet, and through the slaying slip and slide. All the while I'll be chasing ye with me flintlock pistol and me mace. A mace? Isn't that a little thematically incongruent with all the pirate stuff? Yar, but I bought the mace a long time ago, and I feel I haven't gotten me money's worth yet. Unfortunately, according to wider society and the law, you can't just do whatever you want to someone as soon as they enter your home. That means I, a perfectly moral, upstanding citizen and exemplary YouTuber, would be the one in trouble if a burglar got hurt in my pirate dungeon. It's also the topic of today's video. In the 1950s, Bertha Briney inherited an old farmhouse from her grandparents in Eddyville, Iowa. She and her husband Ed decided to leave the farmhouse vacant for the next decade. During this time, the abandoned property was subject to frequent break-ins, burglaries, and vandalism. One of these adventurers was 29-year-old Marvin KATKO, who was supposedly collecting bottles and jars from the place. I guess he just thought they were neat. While the Brineys didn't live in the farmhouse, they didn't leave it completely unattended either, and were annoyed that people had been breaking into the place. They boarded up the place and put up signs that read, "No trespassing." Good idea. But this didn't stop the bastards. They just knocked down the boards and somehow ignored the signs. Fed up with the situation, the Brineys decided they'd need more firm security measures. Ed took a 20-gauge shotgun to the property's bedroom and secured it to the bed frame. Pointing it at the door, he rigged some wire from the shotgun's trigger to the handle in such a way that when the door was opened, the shotgun would blast whoever was coming through. Realizing it'd probably be a bad idea to leave a corpse on their property for the next burglar to find, Bertha suggested the shotgun be aimed downwards so it would hit the intruder in the legs. That way they'd survive their injuries and be scared away. And the Brineys wouldn't get in trouble then, because what burglar is going to go to the police to tell them they were shot by an unwielded shotgun while breaking into a house? I mean, I guess that's what she was thinking. Really just trying to put myself in the shoes of people who rig up shotgun door traps here. I mean, I've seen the Saw movies and Looney Tunes, but I've never done something like that myself, so forgive my naivete on the subject.
Complete Fallout.
Also,
I've
while
seen
I
those
mention
things.
it, did you know Looney Tunes doesn't depict guns anymore? In a promising bid to bring gun violence rates down to zero, characters like Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam will no longer be wielding firearms.
Oh,
It's the 2020s, folks. In
that's
July
stupid.
1967, Marvin KATKO decided he'd revisit the Briney farmhouse and pick up some more jars and bottles. He left the property without incident and lived a long and happy life with a sizable collection of prized glassware. No, I'm joking. Just trying
Yeah,
to
that would
alleviate
be
the
weird.
boredom of telling a very predictable part of the story. Of course he opened the fucking bedroom door. Of course he got blasted with the shotgun. We all knew it was gonna happen. Except Marvin, I suppose.
Yeah.
Marvin was hospitalized, and he was lucky he didn't lose his leg, so serious was his injury. In a more unpredictable turn, he sued the Brineys for damages. In 1971, the court rules in KATKO's favour, stating the use of deadly force on an intruder is unjustified when the occupant is not even present. Under the law, human safety takes precedence over property. The Brineys were ordered to pay $20,000 in actual damages and $10,000 in punitive damages. The decision, as you can imagine, sparked some public outcry, as these types of cases often do.
Yeah.
Every country in the world has at least one well-known case of an intruder being killed or injured by the homeowner. You're thinking of one right now, aren't you? All my fellow Irish people
Actually
will
curious
likely
if
be
there are
thinking
some in
of
Russia. I don't know any.
2004, when a farmer in Mayo shot a trespasser dead. Before
Ooh.
a retrial found him not guilty of manslaughter, he was initially sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. It sparked a lot of outrage and support for the farmer. And you can understand why these cases receive so much public interest. Almost everyone can relate to having a place they call home. You eat, sleep and live there. You probably
Yeah.
had to work hard to get it and all the things in it. You may even have a family who should be safe at home. But a break-in is a random event. It could happen to you, for no reason. Now all those things are potentially in jeopardy. Most people support the right to defend your home because most people are afraid of losing theirs. The KATKO versus Briney case is a bit different though, isn't it? You can't just go around leaving traps for people, even if it is your property. I would wager that most people have committed trespassing before, fairly innocently. You might not have even known you were on private land. Imagine crossing a field
probably.
one day on a hike and you step on a fucking landmine. The right to defend yourself and your property is only a defense when someone has clear, or sometimes even just perceived, intent to threaten those things. That's the problem with traps. They're indiscriminate. As the Brineys couldn't afford to pay the damages, KATKO moved to have part of the Briney farm auctioned off to satisfy his claim. The
Wow.
Brineys' neighbours organised a defence committee to buy 80 of the 120 acres of the land and made an agreement with the Brineys they'd lease it back to them. However,
Okay.
one of the fuckers sold their portion of the land for a profit, which neither KATKO or the Brineys saw. So, in a very strange twist, they teamed up to file a lawsuit against the neighbour. It's settled out of court. Years
What
later,
the hell?
Ed Briney still maintained he did nothing wrong, saying, "There is one thing I'd do different though. I'd have aimed the gun a few feet higher." Well, at least he's a good sport about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Marvin KATKO spent the rest of his life with a limp, and his own house was burgled in 1976. Someone had robbed a camera, guns, and antique clocks. Guess they weren't interested in his bottle collection. In
Yeah,
1994,
and drugs.
at the age of 55, Marvin KATKO died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Oh.
So now you know. You can't
Wait,
booby
accidental
trap
or
your property.
not?
It's a fucking disgrace. And while you can't set traps for trespassers, in the US at least, you don't have a duty to make your property safe for them. In Ireland, we do. Yeah, if there's a big hole or something on your property and a trespasser fell down it and injured themselves, they could sue you. I suppose in that case, you might as well make sure they can't.
Yeah? I mean, no. Wouldn't do that either. That's a weird thing. What happened when they sued the guy who sold the part? Nothing was said about it. I'm curious if they won the case or not. Tales from the bottle. Okay. This was an interesting video. I wouldn't mind watching more from Qxir. I don't know how. I don't see how people watch it, but through recommendations, I might in my description, through the donation link in my description page. I'll watch anything without giving a shit if a single person will watch the video when it comes out. Because I'm a relatively small channel, I kind of want to react to videos that will increase my, well, technically just my subscriber list. But for the donations, I wouldn't give a shit. Now, Tom, hopefully you hearing this, we have a problem because you requested 2 videos. One of them which is ASDF movie, movie. I don't remember how Tom pronounces it. Anyway, I've seen all of it. I don't have a reaction on my channel, but I did see all of it. I can do a reaction, like just trying to remember a couple of jokes and all that stuff. So I can still do a reaction, but I just want to warn you that I seen it before and probably wouldn't be as interesting to watch as if I was watching it for the first time. So tell me in the comments what you want to go, how you want to go about that situation. Don't request a different video. Just leave it as is. Make me want me to make a reaction to it anyway. For now, I'm gonna record a video. I have an idea what to put. There's a channel that I follow that released a new video. Actually, 2 channels in the same day, which is surprising. But still, I have plans, so I have videos to react to. So you can take your time to answer. I'm not touching your donations, they will be there. Yeah, also 4 ways, I guess. Leave it as this, or I can fully return it, or request a different video, or I can make a reaction to SDF movies that, even though I already seen them all. I guess that's every way out there is. Yes, that's all I wanted to say. So, I should have said this before I went talking specifically to Tom, but if somebody is still here, thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time, and goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.